Hi and welcome to my channel. So this is the third part of my A to Z of scrapbooking series, and for this we're on the letter C, of which I'm going to use cut file. So many of us now have die cutting machines and there is a gazillion of cut files out there. Amazing designs being made with all of them. But yeah, I've got loads of cut files that haven't been used, so this is now my chance to get some used. So the cut files I'm gonna use is this star one, and let's see if I can find a piece of paper that might show this up a bit better. Let's use what I was gonna use for the background. So we've got this star circle one, and this one is from Paper Issues. So this is a free download of a silhouette cut file. So that's the one that I got started off on, because for a change I want to be able to scrap a picture of my boy. I do have 3 girls and 1 boy, but I do like to get boy layouts in there as much as I do girls. And sometimes I challenge myself on paper collections that are specifically for girls to get a boy layout out of them. But for this one I have decided to use primarily the Cool Kid. I then also have a second cut file which is going to be either my title or part of my title. This does have middle pieces but they're floating around to the side. And this one is Dude, and this one is from the Just Knit cut file. And if I have a look, this is the one called All Boy. So I've got the Dude out of that. It comes with rad, awesome, cool and some other fun bits. So my thought is that I'm going to back these cut files. I'm thinking of using this black as my background, and I'm planning on using this school photo of my lad in his final year of school. So I'm thinking I might use that size one. However, I do also have, if I can get hold of it, a smaller one, and then I have some as well that are even smaller than that. So I'm not exactly sure on how this layout's going to come together yet, but my thoughts are cut files, because that's the letter C, and then to use the Crepe Paper Cool Kid, of which I've not used any of these papers that I got yet. I don't think by any means I got them all. I think I just got the ones that I like the look of for whatever reason. So say I'm not exactly sure which ones I'm going to use yet. I'm going to pop you on fast forward in a minute and have a mess. But those papers, and then I do have the thickers as well, which I may use some, and then of course I may pull in from my stash. But that's what I'm starting with. So I'll pop you on a little bit of a quicker fast forward while I mess about back in this cut file, and we'll see where this design takes me. I hope you'll join in on this A to Z challenge and get yourself a cut file and see what you can create. Speak to you soon. So I'll back the cut file in a few different ways. I tried, well, as much as you can, back cut files in different ways. So I tried getting the glue onto the back of the cut file and then cutting round it. I also did the cut file where I drew round one of the insides of the stars and then stuck it on afterwards. I don't know whether one is particularly better than others. Sometimes on the small intricate shapes it does work out better to just cut a piece and then cut round it afterwards, I must say. But it's a lot of it is just personal preference. So at the moment I'm using the Stampin' Up! Fine Liner glue. My bottle is playing up a bit. The pin seems to have gone inside itself, but I have since picked up an actual fine liner bottle and I'm seeing how that goes with some Hobbycraft glue. So I'm just going to show you a few of these cut file pieces, and then I will come back to you in real time once this is all backed and ready for the next stage. So speak to you real time. Okay, so I've backed my cut file with the papers from the All Boy collection, and I've also backed my word Dude and then popped in the little hole parts just because I felt like it looked a little bit better. And then I have messed about with the configuration of this, and as we all know, scrapping school photos is not the easiest kettle of fish. So I've had a little bit of a mess, and I'm thinking that this sort of way is the way that's looking the most pleasing to me, is to have the dude down the side and more stars up the top. So initially I was thinking the cut file would be the other way around, but when I sort of line up the dude over the photo and oh, actually, now there's me saying it doesn't look as good, but actually when I look at it up on the film, it does look kind of good. So let me just have another little bit of a mess. See, the thing is, with having the camera above me, which is great and the way it needs to be for filming, it does give you another look at the page from a straight on look without having to lift it up. And I'm not sure whether I am liking it actually when I move the cut file round. No, I think I do prefer that definitely this way round with the more stars at the top. I do like the way it draws your eye to the photo. And then if I have a look at putting on the dude again, please excuse my phone beeping, I quite like that, but it does sort of fill that space as well. So yeah, I think I'm going to stick back with it like that. And then I did have a look at some of the other embellishments that I have, which is mainly the thickers. And most of them are all black. So black on black just isn't going to cut it for me. So I don't think this page needs much more embellishment, and I may use some of the little pieces on here, especially there is some little stars. But now that that's all done, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a little bit of a mess about now. I'm thinking I may put some sort of strip of paper underneath the photo. So I'm thinking of cutting off some of these branding strips and having a mess. But I thought I'd let you know where I'm sort of up to now this cut file's been done. I am on a completely different day. This has been sat on my desk now for a good couple of weeks, but we'll see where it goes. So I'll pop you back on fast forward and you can join me where we see how this page turns out. So I did start by cutting off the branding strips to a few of the different papers, so that I could then have a mess about with layering a few up around the photo. Because the photo is already in a frame, I didn't feel as though I needed to back the whole photo, but I did feel as though it needed some of the colours from the papers bringing in to sort of frame it a little bit more than the black frame already did. So I had a mess about, as you can see here, with a few of the little strips, and I used them just the size they are when they come off the branding strip, because crepe paper don't do a full strip of it. It's sort of a little less than half, probably about 4 or 5 inches. And once I'd layered a couple at the top and the bottom, I thought to myself, oh, let's bring in some of these little word sticker quotes. So I pulled a couple in at the bottom of the photo and really liked how they looked. So that is, live your dream with passion and be you bravely. And then I had a couple of the other strips that I hadn't used under the photo lying to the side, and I was thinking of bringing in a couple of strips in sort of 2 of the corners, just so that they sort of fitted in and sort of framed the page, or, you know, at least gave me another embellishment cluster as well. As you'll see there, I did just bring some swashes by my husband, which is quite nice when you're scrapping to be given treats. So I'll probably munch through some of those afterwards. In fact, I've just finished them off as I'm doing this voiceover. So once I brought in those couple of strips at the bottom, I then started pulling in some embellishments from the puffy sticker sheet for there. So I've brought in a lightning bolt at the top and then a red star, and then at the bottom I've got a red arrow and a yellow star. So I'm happy with the way that that's starting to look now. So what I've decided to do is start sticking it down, and as you can see, I've just got myself a fine liner bowl, and I'm currently trying Hobbycraft's tacky glue in that to see how it works. It does need a bit of a squeeze to get it out. I'm not sure whether that's the thickness of the glue or what, but apart from that, it seems to be sticking down really well. So I'll give you updates on how that goes as I get to use it more. So I stuck down the star parts of the cut file, and then I've stuck down the photo and the little strips, and I'm just going to pop up on 3D foam the word dude, just so it gives a little bit more interest to the page. So once I got these down, I had a little bit of a mess about with the inserts from this cut file, so the insert stars, and I will end up popping a couple on that top cluster and also on that bottom one. But I wanted to bring some more of these word stickers in. So I'm using the Tim Holtz ideology. Up in the top corner, I will end up putting just the words enjoy and life, and they come from the chit chat. And then everything else comes from the small talk. So it tends to have more longer phrases. So at the bottom, I've got use your wings. And at the top, as I say, I've got enjoy life. And then it skews my head now, but what I did decide to do was use the curve of the star to sort of cut these quotes up into separate little words, and use those as sort of a decoration around. So I put one at the top that says there's nothing like a dream to create the future, and then I decided to follow it with a couple more. So I've got be your beautiful self above dude. And then finally, I'm going to bring one in near the bottom that says you are capable of becoming more than you realise. And I just like the way that that adds a little bit of interest to this cut file without going over the top, because I do feel as though the cut file speaks for itself. But here's some close-ups. I hope you join me in creating a layout yourself using a cut file. And if you've got any questions or comments, please leave them below and I'll get back to you. But thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.